Hi, I'm Kay and welcome to Bead Sisters. I am so glad you found me. We're sitting on the porch today because the light is pretty good and it's really comfortable out here. Last I checked, it was like 57 degrees. It's probably 60-ish now, so a sweater feels good. This is the Wyeth cardigan. I knit it several years ago. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's open front, so I'm constantly doing this. But otherwise, it was really fun to knit, and generally speaking, I like it. I'll try to remember to put in a picture or something so you can see the whole thing. But it's got this sort of arrow pattern here created with just purl stitches. So anyway, a nice cardigan, and I like it. The yarn, I don't remember, but I think it's a wool acrylic blend maybe. But it's been a few years, sort of a tweedy look to it. Is that focusing? What if I hide my face? There we go. And yeah, I really enjoy wearing it and I love the color. Well, I hope you're doing well. I invite you to subscribe, give me a thumbs up. A comment is really appreciated. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, just like, hey, how are you? Tell me where you're from, tell me what you're working on. Or if it's just hi and a little heart emoji, all of that is fine. I appreciate it. Helps the algorithm. All right, there's not a lot of knitting going on because I am getting ready for the Southeast Animal Fiber Fair in Fletcher, North Carolina. SAFF will be in a little over a week. It's almost time. I can't believe it. So I've been sewing and dyeing yarn, getting ready for that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'll show you what little bit of knitting I have done. I cast on the Midas Hat by Laura Reinbach, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I think I've mentioned it, but here it is. This one is the folded brim hat. I know I've talked about the pattern. I just can't remember if I talked about this one specifically. But you cast on with the provisional cast on. You knit like 30 rows roughly, and then you put the provisional cast on back on a needle, and then you fold it up and put them together. So folded brim hat, and it has one purl round, which makes for a really nice fold. But the other thing that you do is increase the stitch count by about 10. And I think it's to prevent a little bit of a flare here, so you have a little bit less on the part that's folded in. What was interesting with this yarn, this is from Ryan Yarn. I got it in Savannah. Let's see if I have the ball band. I do. Ryan Yarn. It is the twist sock base, which is 80/20 merino nylon in the Picture of Dorian Gray colorway. Can you see it? All right. With the original stitch count, it was pooling. So I'm getting mostly brown on this side and mostly this kind of greenish blue on the other side. When I increased by about 10%, it started striping. Isn't that cool? So you're supposed to pass, this is where it was folded, so I've come this far past that. Where's the fold? Right there. And then I've knit up to here. And it's supposed to be, I think, 9 inches from the fold itself. My hand span is 8, so I've got 3/4 of an inch maybe to go, and then decreases. This is actually really good for mindless knitting, social knitting, because it's mostly stockinette in the round. The only thing you have to keep up with is for this first part, where you have to have the exact number of rows before and after the fold. So that's been my mindless knitting project that I can pick up anytime, stop in the middle of a row, it doesn't matter, or around, it doesn't matter. So that's the Midas Hat by Laura Reinbach. The other thing that I just cast on this morning is one I mentioned a while back, the Gati, I think it's Gati hat, which I think she says in Arabic means, yeah, Gati means cover in Arabic. This is the pattern. This is from Arabian Knits, Renee Muller, not sure how she pronounces it. And let's see, is there a website? She sells patterns. This is available on Ravelry. She sells patterns also on Lovecrafts, I think. And I just got started. This hat is knit flat. Interesting, right? So I just got started this morning. I cast on and did the first little bit. There's a garter edge, and then I'm on some stockinette right now. This yarn is from One Twisted Tree. She is no longer dyeing yarn, to the best of my knowledge. One Twisted Tree. It's a sport weight, and this pattern is pretty flexible. You can use anything from sport to, well, I think anything from sport to DK, and you could probably make some adjustments and use something else. You could even double fingering if you have some fingering leftovers, because it doesn't require very much. It's a child or baby hat. Okay, back to the yarn. One Twisted Tree Lavish Sport 100% superwash in the Admiral Adana colorway. Just a beautiful, beautiful blue, rich blue with some black probably. And so that just took me a few minutes this morning to get that going. I've got a marker for the right side, although at this point I don't really need it because I'm doing stockinette. Can you see my little, I can't remember where I got it. It says Wool Connoisseur. So that's all the knitting that's been going on lately, because I have been very focused on getting ready for SAFF. If you're coming, please stop by and say hello. I would dearly love to talk to you. Show me what you're working on, projects that you finished lately. I love that stuff. I have been watching podcasts while I have been working on either sewing or dyeing yarn. And so I feel like I've been getting caught up with a few knitting and other craft related podcasts. Seeing lots of floss tube, cross stitch and needlework, that kind of stuff lately too, which is really fun. I did a fair amount of cross stitch, gosh, 20 to 25 years ago. I was not knitting at the time. I crocheted, but I didn't knit. But my husband worked really long hours, so I have samplers on my wall that I worked on while he was gone a lot in the evening. So it's kind of fun looking at those projects. I would kind of like to tackle maybe a small cross stitch project in the not too distant future, because I really did enjoy it. And but it's been fun seeing other people's projects. So if you've been working on other crafts, anything besides knitting, I'd love to hear about it. Show me your projects. I guess you can't post. Can you post a picture in comments? I don't think so, but I would love to see it. So tell me what you're working on. Okay, let's talk about SAFF and stuff that I've been working on. I want to show you some of the bags that are going to be available there. I'm still planning to get some stuff listed prior to SAFF on the Bead Sisters website. So go check out the website. I'm a one-woman show here, so I would love for you to visit the website and tell me what you think. This will be available there, as well as SAFF, hopefully in about a week. SAFF starts a week from Thursday. Again. Okay. New yarn colorway. It's looking a little messy because I just grabbed this off my drying rack. It is called mason jar. Let me pull the bag that was the inspiration. Giant mason jars. This is only in the large just because the scale of the print is so huge. Look at that. The yarn will be available in Fingering Sport, DK, and worsted, and I'm also going to have some minis. Isn't that cute? So I love my ball jar fabric. So this is, you can see this is big. This is like sweater size. And it just has to be because of a giant scale print like that. Let's talk about some of the others that are available that I'm very excited about. This is another one. This is a little more of a aqua, got more green tint to it. But this is large. You could use this one for a sweater as well. So pretty big in there. Boxed base, so it'll sit up. I have this in, I didn't bring it, but I have this in a couple other sizes as well. Like a 2 skein size, as well as I think like possibly single skein, but more notions pouch size. But it says can until you can't, and of course I can. And there's a mason jar. I don't know if you can see that one before. So anyway, I think this is super cute. And I also have my Kitchener stitch instructions. This one, I use this size a lot because I can easily fit 2 skeins in there. So a shawl project is fun in this, certainly socks. And it's enough if you fold over a pattern, you could fit a paper pattern in there as well. So I have this one and the sock heel turn also. The Kitchener stitch instruction thing is pretty small, so it was easy to get the full instructions to show up on there. This one, I tried to make sure that you got this full instruction on at least one side, because with this, it kind of split it up. So I tried to make sure every bag had an easily readable copy of that. And these have the boxed bottom as well, so these should sit up pretty nicely. So I can open that up. And it'll sit open for you, should. And I have these in other fabrics that I think I've shown before, but it's vegetables and canning and that kind of stuff. Okay, those fabrics I also have in drawstring. I have to put the drawstrings in, I haven't done that yet. But we have that in a drawstring version, and you could easily fit 2 or 3 skeins of yarn in here. And this, the contrast fabric's different for these, but I also have it here. And you have the instructions. It's a little bit larger piece of fabric, so easy to see those there. So those are I think you've seen at this point all of the fabrics, I'm pretty sure. And again, there will be other new colorways available, and they are harvest and vegetable canning season themed. Speaking of canning, I haven't been canning, but I have been putting things in jars. We've been doing dehydrated apples. These are so good, y'all. I had a friend, I didn't have time to go, but a friend went to North Carolina, near where we're going to be for SAFF, and brought me back some apples. So I have been dehydrating them because it doesn't take all that long, maybe 15 minutes, to slice up a dehydrator load of apples. I put them in water with citric acid so they don't turn brown, and then sprinkle them with some cinnamon and sugar, just a little bit, and dehydrate them. They dehydrate for about 5 or 6 hours. I let them cool and then put them in jars, and they're so good. That look good. So I've got about 4 of these now. I can only do like 7 apples at a time, slicing them. But I'm making my way through, so take a few minutes and get that done and get it going, and then I can move on and do other projects until it's time to just put them in the jar. So that's been a good way to preserve some apples, and it's going to be a really good snack for the fall and however long they last into the winter. I have mentioned what I'm reading before. I'm about halfway through this book now, The Judge's List by John Grisham. This came out about a year ago, about halfway through. I am enjoying this one. I like the main character. I haven't read a John Grisham book in ages, but the main character is Lacey. Yeah. I think she's been in another book. I think I read that earlier. Lacey Stoltz. So she's a very likable main character. Anyway, The Judge's List. The premise is that somebody suspects that there is a judge who is a serial killer. And so she is let's see if it says. She's on the Florida Board on Judicial Conduct. That's the premise of the story. She works for them, and she's been asked to investigate this judge. So again, The Judge's List by John Grisham. I like it so far. I'm just a slow reader because I only get to read at bedtime, and I read 3 pages and then I fall asleep. Is that your plan? Or are you one of these people who can read for hours? I can sometimes if I'm on vacation and it's afternoon, I can do that. Otherwise, I read 3 pages and then I go to sleep. Well, everybody, I think that's it for today. I will try to put in a picture of the cat. I don't know if you can hear her. She's walking around and meowing at me. She is almost impossible to photograph. I got this one really good photograph of her right when she showed up, me for the cat, and she just decided that she lives on our porch, and she's rubbing against my foot. She's not a lap cat. She doesn't like to get on your lap. She doesn't like to be picked up, but she does like to be close. When she first showed up, I got this one really good picture of her, and now it's almost impossible. I got one blurry picture of her to send my daughter a week or so ago. But I'll see if I can get one and put in a picture of this cat who has decided she belongs here. All right, take care, everybody. I will look forward to seeing you at SAFF, I hope. And if not, I hope you have an excellent week.